2,
That was fire. Like,
1.
Can you do your first and last name?
Jesse Lopez.
Tell a lie.
A little bit louder?
Yeah.
Okay. Jesse Lopez.
So Jesse, what's one thing that people may get confused about this career right here?
I think it's a scam. They'll think more of it being a gamble. Them having a sense of security is what they're taught to have, working a regular 9 to 5, which is good, don't get me wrong. But if you look in the history of people who are truly successful, they took a lot of risks. And those big risks is what really elevated them to the top. And as far as Forex concerned, that's a risk. That's a huge risk as far as trading because it's not guaranteed. So when it comes to this career or this opportunity that was presented to me and I'm taking it, it's a risk that I'm willing to take. And people think of it as, you're just throwing money away. People think of it as a scam, and I don't see it that way. I truly don't.
So what got you into this? Was it meeting Michelle? Did you meet up with Brooke on out in the plaza? How'd you hear about this?
I originally heard it because I was on Facebook and I was reading comments because I deal with my other job that I do, if you will. It's a public adjuster. I do insurance claims, and in there I get to meet a lot of contractors. So in the group on Facebook, they have contractors that make a lot of money, And in the comments I've read, "What are you doing with your money?" And the other person was saying cryptocurrency. Like, well, what is that? So that's what sparked the whole thing for me to research and to see exactly what is that, and here and there, and that's when I got involved.
Can I have you say your name just one more time?
Jesse Lopez.
Jesse Lopez. So
After.
Jesse, it sounds like if you don't have something else to do, it sounds like maybe like an obligation. What are you doing in your free time?
I have kids, and I usually tend to the kids, but majority of the time I'm always just researching whatever pretty much comes to my mind as far as what's my next step to make money, right? I research, and anything that just makes sense to me that could elevate me to the next level, I research. Not necessarily listen to music. That's to me, I don't see it as a waste of time, but I do see it as if I'm just spinning my wheels in the mud. So I do a lot of research to see what could help me, be a better person. If I could bring something better to the table, what would that be? And work on it. So, yeah.
What, besides all this, fuck the trading right now, respectfully, fuck money, fuck job, just you personally, inside and out, what is your purpose in life?
I always seen it as, since I have kids, my purpose in life is to show them to be better than me. Because from what I see, it's always about evolution. It's about it's about getting to the next phase, right? Evolution. So yes, and so I see that, and I understand that, and what I don't want to do is have my kids do the same thing that I've done. So, by me having kids, yes, before you have kids, you have these, wild, vivid dreams, as an individual, but becoming a family man, it just changed to me my purpose in life, and that would be for them to be better than me. That's my whole mission. When I'm learning this, the trading, the insurance, it doesn't matter what it is, it's to get them better than me. That's how I truly feel.
So you're a family man at heart.
Of course, yes, family man, yes, have to be.
How has I Am Academy kind of played into that part of trying to be a family man, but you also have daily obligations for a job? How does this career fit into your everyday schedule?
Well, some people say they don't have time to make these adjustments. Well, if it's worth your time, you make it. You adjust to that. The way it's affect me, I see it to where once again it's bringing me to the next level to be able to teach my kids and show my kids, hey, you don't necessarily have to work a 9 to 5. You don't necessarily have to, be, I guess you could say, I don't want to say slave, but don't be scared. Take those risks, take those chances to be something better, because not a lot of people have those guts to do so. And when you take that risk and you have the guts to do so, you'll never know what you become. But if you never do it, you always wonder, what if? I don't like that.
Right. So in terms of Brooke mentioned earlier, taking a risk. If you treat this as a hobby, it's going to pay you as a hobby. If you treat this as a job, it's going to pay you as a job. Have you faced any failure in terms of, I can make this money real quick, like a hobby, like I can just do this anytime? Or how did you make this a continuous, consistent thing for you?
It's really based on your beliefs. What do you believe in? Do you believe, is this to be a hobby? You just want to make quick cash and go back to your 9 to 5, so we find security and feel comfort there, that's fine. It's your beliefs. Me personally, I believe it could be something huge. So that's what makes me turn it into more of a business, because I truly believe that it is. And with my beliefs behind it, follows the motivation, follows the ambition, everything falls into play. And which transforms it to a priority versus just a hobby.
Do you have like a favorite instructor that you talk to on a day-to-day basis?
Not necessarily talk to, but I chime in a lot on their teachings and their instructions. I definitely like Derek.
Derek who?
Abekwe?
Yes.
Abekwe? He's real good. I like the fact that he's very humble. Trust me, I've met a lot of guys who are millionaires and who are up there, and sometimes they just turn, I guess you could say, not arrogant, and they have every right to, hey, by all means. But when you want to talk to them, they don't necessarily give you full attention. Derek, on the other hand, does. So on a personal level and based on experience, I respect that, and I like that.
Yeah.
Brings me to a level. He brings me to a level where hey, look, I did it, you could do it too, and I'm willing to show you. Another instructor that I like to follow is on the IM Academy is Arlette Collazo. She's good. I like how she explains it. What's the gentleman's name? Vasquez. Nes Vasquez. Nes Vasquez, correct? He's got. I like his trade. I like his form of trading. But Dr. Josh Lee and Brandon Boyd, those are guys I love how they dig deep into to your mental behind it. Not necessarily, okay, let's take the trade. We're taking a trade at so-and-so. Okay, put it for 2 minutes and let's go. They don't really, from what I've investigated, it's more about your mental. They break it down. And that's what I truly like, because me as an individual, I like to make money. I like to take the signals, but I like to do my research. How did they get that signal? How did they get to that point where they're confident to take that signal? So I'll research their call outs and try to reason into my way of understanding on how it came to be. And if it makes sense and I see what they did, then I can basically learn how to do that on my own time.
Yeah. So what's you talk about basically being committed. You have to treat this as a second income. But why was your why factor? Like why what makes you not different than everybody else, but why do you even do this? You talk about family, but is there something that you as an individual feel like you have to do yourself, or what is it? What's your why?
Okay. So let's go back to 2003, 4, 2, somewhere around there. I wanted to be a rapper. I wanted to be a rapper. We got into the whole music thing. I learned how to, I did a lot of writing when I was a kid. And we did our songs out there in Dallas. We were selling CDs at, $3 a pop, and we were selling them like crazy. So I really enjoyed that. And that's where that envision of being rich came into play. This is before my kids even came in, right? So we're selling CDs. I got into the mix. We brought it to the radio station. They loved it. Well, somebody in the group wanted to separate. They wanted to break loose, and he owned the equipment. So that kind of put it at a halt. Like, what are you gonna do now? You know, I dropped out of high school for this. You know, this I really committed to that. And when he did that, it was more like somewhat of a letdown, but the vision of making money did not stop. So that was the seed that created me to be you know, an entrepreneur, if you will. You know, to be determined to whatever you're gonna do, you're gonna make big money because that's how you seen it. Not necessarily through rap, how you first originated the idea, but what else can you do to get that, to hit that goal, to make that money? And it motivates me now when the kids come into mix at that point. But that's where it all started.
So it sounds like you definitely felt some failure, you know, from trying to become a rapper. But if I'm in this business, do you fail a lot? Because Brooks said that we make money every day. So how do you deal with if you do encounter some failure? How do you go about that?
Of course, I do encounter failure. I do. You know, but once again, you got to pick yourself up. Because if you're that easily knocked off and you stay down, then anything in life will tear you apart. So what separates the man from the boys? What determines you to be the one, the elite, right? To be a part of them. It's your consistency and your ambition. They got to be behind that. You know, but it all boils down to your belief system. You know, as long as all those are coordinated, everything else will follow. So do I fail? Of course, but that doesn't give me the, I guess you could say, the justification to stay down. You gotta keep going, you know, and that's just basically how I see it, honestly.
What's one of the biggest lessons, or what's one of the most controversial lessons that you've learned from this business?
My attitude towards trading. I would make money and I would lose it, and then I'm the type of guy, I'm like, you know what, run it back. I need my money. I'm going to get it. And that's where it becomes a gamble, and that's where I lose. So by me saying that, Jesse needs to control Jesse. And don't let the emotions get the best of him, because if that's the case, you're no good in the business, Jesse. So you need to tighten up, do better, and be more professional when it comes to showing your emotions when you lose money. Because you will lose money, but it's how you conduct yourself afterwards determines if you're going to continue to make money and be in this business for a long run.
Is it,
What makes you worth the shit?
What makes me worth the shit? It's what I determined to bring to the table. What I don't want to do is come empty-handed. I don't want to come, you know, without anything. Someone asks me a question, I'm just dumbfounded, right? So what I don't want to do is come empty-handed. If anybody comes to me, whether it be a millionaire, a youngster, you know, a person my age, a thug, a dealer. I mean, I've bumped into a lot of them. If you ask Jesse, Jesse has something to bring to the table. Been there, done that, yes. And, you know, to me personally, it's my determination. If I get into something, whether it be illegal, which I've made dumb decisions in the past, I put my all into it. And people see that. But when I allocate it to something better, more productive, people see that. So what makes me, you know, a part of, what was the question? What makes me, you know, be the shit? What was that? It's the determination. You know, I put my all into it, whether it be in, you know, the cause. There's a cause behind it, and I'm putting my all into it.
yeah, right. So now joining Dreamers Coalition, being a part of Trade House New Mexico, I'm not sure if you have any other experience with different groups, but what do you feel like a newcomer can experience or gain from being a part of this group right here?
Oh man, it's a blessing. For me, I've been in so many different businesses, involved in and failed with Trade House, with trading. You know, this whole business, it's instant gratification. Should you trade that way, or it's long-term gratification? But the true value behind it is money management. You know, you're not necessarily making money. You're truly learning how to manage your money. And do we learn that in school? No, we don't. So any newcomer that comes in, they're getting a good lesson on how to make money and how to manage it. Because you're losing, You're managing your emotions. You're managing, your money, how to spend it, how not to spend it. You're taking risks. So there's a huge reward. Not only just making, instant money, but there's a lot of lessons that go behind it, which is a true value that you can allocate it to anything in your life.
No, I agree with you 100%. I love the way this group has functioned. From earlier this morning, we had a lot of fun. But I'm asking, what's your elevator pitch? If I came up to you and I said, man, like, what do you do?
Ooh.
Why do you do it?
Why? Yeah. Why? Why would you do it?
Well, what do you want out of life? I'll ask you that. What do you want out of life? From there, whatever your answer comes, I feed off of that. So, what do you want out of life? I want to be better, right? Okay, well, what does it take to be better? Right, you got to study, correct? You got to go to school. You have to do these things, your trials and tribulations, right? It's the same thing in trading, what I do. Do you see yourself homeless the next month? Obviously not, right? You see yourself making money. You see yourself, going from bill to bill, if not, being something more of that. When bills are paid, you got money to spend.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends on what you want. Now, if you want to get what I get or what I make, here, this is the steps too. Now, if you want to be average Joe and just, live your paycheck to paycheck, then by all means continue. But I'm pretty sure you want greatness.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's hard to give an elevator pitch because honestly, what do you want out of life? Because depending on that answer, lets me know if I could talk to you or not. Some people aren't ready for a status of that stature. They're not.
Mm-hmm.
But the people who are, you could tell they're hungry, and that's who you pitch it to.
Dude, no, I understand. So on a day-to-day basis, what would you say you do? For somebody who asks you, what do you do on a day-to-day basis? What do you do?
I got kids, man. So I tend to my kiddos. But once again, I always hit the laptop, whether it be in trading, whether it be in studying. I'm always on the laptop researching things. I mean, it could be from, my insurance. I got to look up insurance, zones. I talk to the attorneys. So I'm either bouncing back and forth from construction work, because I have other construction, jobs. I work with other contractors. It's for as well as insurance questions. If I got to research insurance scenarios where the attorney gets me involved and I have to see what's going on, or it's with trading. So those are like three major things and my kids, four major things that I have to juggle, and it keeps me super occupied.
What's the if you can sum up what you do in one sentence, what would you say?
I work,